Hi, I'm Imogen Lamport from Inside Out Style.
And I'm Jill Chivers from Shop Your Wardrobe. And in this video we're going to talk about hair. Hair, glorious hair.
So we've been asked about how do I find a hairstyle that suits my face shape. And the thing is, one of the things you need to think about is actually, let's go back even before face shape. There are other things that are more important than face shape when choosing a hairstyle.
Yeah.
So my number one is how much time you're prepared to spend doing it.
Really important thing. I once roomed with a woman at a conference and it took her 90 minutes. I kid you not, 90 minutes to do her hair every day, and it needed doing every day because she was rowing against the natural tide of what her hair was doing. And I just thought, 90 minutes a day, who's got that?
But she must have been happy doing it because she'd made that decision to have a hairstyle that didn't work with her hair texture. So there is the how much time I'm prepared to spend doing it. Now, I am a low maintenance girl.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the lowest of, so the very lowest of maintenance is wash and wear.
Right.
So there are some people who quite just go, I just wash and wear, I don't dry, I don't do anything, I really don't put product in it.
Yeah, right.
Then there might be a level up, which I think I am in, which is I will do 3 minutes or less.
Right.
And even 3 minutes feels like a burden to me, so I do it only once every 3 to 4 days.
Okay, right. Yeah, so that's with a bit of product and then some styling and a blow dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every other day that's not the 3 minute day is maybe 30 seconds to a minute.
Okay.
And that's as much time as I'm prepared to spend doing my hair on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Then there's, I don't know, then there's up from there that there are people who will happily spend 10 minutes a day doing their hair.
Yeah.
And then I know some people who spend 30 minutes. Now, 90 minutes is pretty extreme.
It is.
But it's that, so the first thing you want to ask yourself is, how much time am I prepared to spend doing it?
And I would say I'm 3 minutes every day. So I'm kind of at that second level, but I will do it every day. Certainly I wouldn't do the 10-minute thing. And at the times when I have spent more time is when I'm going to a 1940s inspired special occasion. We can all spend a bit more time. But on average, you'll go, I'm a 3 minute girl. Yeah.
Pretty low maintenance. I don't want hair that requires a lot of work.
And so that's important because when you are talking to your hairdresser, you need to convey that,
Absolutely,
right?
You need to convey that. Because then the next question is, what will my hair texture do?
Right.
So like your friend who would spend 90 minutes because she's fighting her natural, what her hair does, that then your hairdresser will need to know, okay, well, with your hair texture, if you want to spend 3 minutes or less a day doing it, these are the kind of cuts you can have.
Right.
So if you want wash and wear hair, then you really have to say to the hairdresser, I want wash and wear. They've got to work particularly with your hair texture, and probably you're really limited to the styles you can have.
Right. Yeah.
And it may be completely unrelated to your face shape.
Yeah. Yeah, so you may have to make a compromise in that regard because that whole lifestyle thing, 3 minutes a day or whatever it is,
too much. But if you're basically, I'm a wash and wear, I do nothing, then it's really down to what your hair texture will do for wash and wear.
Yeah, right.
So then we've got face shape.
Right.
So once we bring in, once we go, okay, I've got those things covered, then face shape is a feature.
Right.
So that's when you might want to go, well, am I a more longer, shorter, wider? So I've got an overall longer face. You've got a shorter face.
Yeah.
Now I've got a great big forehead.
Right.
Which ideally I should have fringe to cover.
Right.
But because I've got two cowlicks here,
right,
it doesn't work with my 3 minutes or less a day.
Right.
Because it requires a whole lot more blow drying, and then if I get slightly wet, if it drains at all, or if I sweat, then suddenly they come back and I don't think they look any good.
Right.
So I will say it's not ideal for me, but because, it's about my level of what I'm prepared to commit to.
Yeah.
I'm happy with this.
Yeah, so that's a compromise that's easy for you to make.
And for me, and this is why Bob kind of hairstyles have worked for me, is that because my hair texture does it easily.
Yeah.
It allows me to have a three, and I've had a variety of different sorts of bobs, but it allows me to do that.
Yeah.
And I have had other hairstyles before where I've gone, no, there's just too much maintenance.
Yeah.
So for me, this is my easy and what my hair does. And you've had a variety of hairstyles over the years.
Yeah, in the main, the most successful have been versions of short, and I will do little things that add variety in terms of what's variety for
Yes.
me. It wouldn't be variety in terms of what Katy Perry thinks of,
Yeah.
in terms of her massively changing hairstyles. But, you know, a little bit of length here, a little bit of short there, that kind of stuff. But short really works for me, and the texture of my hair, which is fine, but I have a reasonable amount of it. Unlike the older women in my family who have fine hair and not a lot of it. So they're finding that, you know, they're trying to work against that. So I find that a hairdresser who really understands my hair and can cut it really well, so that I don't need too many styling products or styling tools for it to look good. That's the kind of hairdresser that you want to stick with.
One who understands your low maintenance requirements.
Yeah.
And then also can look at your face and go, because you've got a shorter face, I'm not going to cut a heavy fringe because it's going to further shorten down your face. And I'm going to have a little bit of length because that'll help to, you know, to give it a little bit more elongation.
Yeah.
So it's the, you know, if I want to make my face look longer, I have longer hair past it.
Yeah.
You know, if I want to add width to my face, then I might have more volume at the sides.
Yeah.
So there's some basic face shape rules, and I've got blog posts which we'll link to, all about each face shape and different hairstyles and what to look for.
Yeah.
So we do have that. There's also the placement of your facial features. And this is something a lot of people don't think about. So the longer a jaw kind of area, the more masculine you appear. So this is why shorter hairstyles, like you've got a little gap there between the base of your ear and your jaw. It's about that long. If we look at mine, it's about that long.
Okay, right.
So what this does is it gives you you can have shorter hair and look feminine.
Right.
Versus when I have really short hair, suddenly I become jaw. You notice my jaw, and a heavier jaw is a more masculine feature.
Ah, that's so interesting.
So for me, I feel like when I've had really short hair, I've had to wear a lot more makeup to look more feminine.
Interesting.
And feminine is an important part of my personality style.
Yeah.
Now, for some people, feminine's not, and they don't care.
Yeah.
But for me, I just go, for me, I don't really like to not have any hair around this area, because that's when my jaw becomes more prominent.
Yeah.
And I don't have a really big jaw, but it's really quite long. So there is a kind of little kind of proportional measurement that comes from the base of the ear to the base of the jaw. That if it's less than about 5 centimetres, a short hairstyle works.
Yeah, right.
And still looking feminine, versus if it's longer, that's often where it becomes more masculine.
Yeah.
The other thing is, because my features are in the middle of my face, it does make my forehead look taller.
Right.
So this is where I could have a fringe, and I've got to be careful not to make my face look too long.
Yeah, right.
Because I've already got this length here.
Yeah.
In fact, my face is an oval, but it looks more oblong because my features are actually in the middle of my face, and they're not big features.
Yeah.
Versus you'll see someone with the same face as me when they're more spread out, it'll actually look not as long.
Now here's something else, which is about hairstyles and aging. And I remember reading long before I turned 40 that women over 40 should have short hair.
Cut their hair off.
It was kind of like a thing, you know, never wear white shoes after Labor Day. And of course now we see lots of examples of women over 40 with long hair, and in my view looking fantastic.
Now I think a lot of that was, so these rules came around when hair dye did not work on grey hair.
Right.
And long grey hair can look witchy.
Right.
So this was where it was, you know, once you start going really grey, that maybe that long straggly grey hair, and hair texture changes as it goes grey, it becomes a bit more coarse.
Right, yeah.
So, you know, it can be less, you know, attractive.
Yeah.
But you look at Elle Macpherson, who is 50 or 50 something, beautiful long hair.
Yeah.
Because these days we have the hair dyes and products and stuff too that keep our hair looking much better with age.
Yeah.
And I think 40 is not old like 40 used to be old.
Yeah.
When people died on average much younger, 40 was that middle age.
Yeah.
People are living a lot longer. So now old age doesn't start to 70.
Yeah, right. So 40 is the new kind of 25.
Yeah, 40 is the new 25.
Yeah.
So maybe now the rule should be when you get over 70, if your hair texture isn't great, cut it shorter. But this is often it's the difference between really long, as in down to my waist somewhere, versus, you know, hitting my shoulders or to my shoulder blades or something.
And I think the other thing too with long hair is how styled it
Yes.
is, or whether it's just sort of hanging out of your hair like a horse's mane.
You think about old blow dryers,
Right.
and old, you know, to be able to do your hair well
Yeah.
when all you had was either rollers or one of those funny caps, you
Right.
couldn't do long hair well.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those rules came from just what was around.
Yeah.
And we've got so many better products now to make your hair softer and all those sorts of things as well. So take a bit of the coarseness out.
Yeah.
That I think that when you're thinking about hairstyles now, I just go like, you know, if you've got great long hair, wear it long, whatever age you are.
Yeah.
You know, if you go, it's really fine and I've got hardly any hair left, having it long is kind of going to make that more obvious.
Right. Yeah.
And look, my grandmother, she had long hair, but she wore it up in a bun every day. And in fact, she had a hairpiece she used to wrap around her hair and pop on the top of her head. It's the total trend right now, I can tell you. I've seen young girls with my grandmother's hairstyle that she had for years.
So it's every fashion trend, it all comes back around. It's amazing.
And so this is why they're just some of the things you want to think about when you're thinking about what sort of hairstyle suits.
Yeah.
It's way more than just your face shape. And I think if you don't take those other things into consideration, you actually won't get a hairstyle that you feel happy doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.